Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to make an 8 by 8 mini album using 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, and it is designed specifically to use those 8 by 8 paper pads that you get from Graphic 45 and Stamperia, but of course you can also use your regular 12 by 12s for this. Now, I created one during a live a few weeks ago. This one I decorated with the Roxy and Friends from Photoplay. This is no longer on the market, but there's another set, I think, called Meow that uses this same group of cats and I think the same colorway. So let me show you. What I've done is I first took 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 paper and connected them together. That is this base. Oh, I forgot to cover the back. Don't tell anybody. And then I just used some other pieces of 8.5 by 11 to make a part that flips out this way, and then some pages on this side that just act like regular pages. Move my drink out of the way. And you see that I just used this particular paper because I had it laying around and hadn't used it, and it wasn't 8 by 8, it was 12 by 12, but I used 8-inch squares of it, and then the 4-inch by 8-inch strips that were left over I paired together to cover some of these other pages. So this book takes 7 pieces of cardstock if you want to make this basic album. I do have a magnetic closure in here, and let me show you the other one. This one uses this hot buy from Michaels, which is a few seasons old. It was also one that I had just on hand, so I used it. So you can see here where the magnetic closure is. I forgot to put this particular magnet underneath the paper, but this one I put a little mat for a photo and one of the cut aparts here. And the only difference between this book and the one that I just showed you is that this one has a pocket here with an extra large photo mat, some cut aparts, and then a waterfall. So this waterfall takes 2 pages, or 2 sheets of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So if you're wanting to make this version, it's 7 pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. If you're wanting to make the one with the waterfall, it is 9 pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So I'm going to very quickly take you through creating the base of this album. Again, the standard base is 7 sheets of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and the waterfall uses 2 additional sheets, so that would be 9 if you want to put the waterfall in. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is take 4 sheets of my 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I'm going to put it in my scoring board, and I'm going to score this at 8.5. So basically what we're making is this square, 8.5 by 8.5, but then with this extra piece here. And we need 4 of those. And for these last 3 pieces, I'm going to score at 8.5 and 9. So 8.5 and 9, and essentially we are making a 1/2 inch gusset here. I need 3 of these. So now I'm going to set my scoreboard aside, and I am going to burnish all of my score lines. All right, so now I have my 3 pieces of cardstock that are scored at 8.5 and 9. First thing we're going to do is take 2 of these, and essentially we're going to make a book that has a gusset at the top and the bottom. So we have this small section here that I'm going to glue to about this section here. You can do that on the inside or the outside. Essentially, we're going to mat both sides of this with designer cardstock, so whether you put it on the front or the back is really up to you, but I find it easiest to glue this section. And you want to glue it right up next to that score line, but you don't want to put glue in the score line. So I'm just going to take that piece and this piece and line them up, and I'm still going to have this 1/2 inch gusset from here to here. That's our 8.5 and 9-inch score marks. And so I'm going to just cover this one end with this other piece of cardstock. So now you see, and you want to line it up right against the score line, but not in it or on top of it. You want it to be able to bend. You don't want it to have a lot of friction. So now we have our top gusset here and our bottom gusset here. And if you look at it like this, that's the beginning of our book. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this third piece of cardstock that is scored at the 8.5 and 9-inch marks, and we're going to take this 2-inch section and glue it so that this far score mark lines up with the end of this paper. So again, front or back, it doesn't matter because we're going to mat these at some point. So just going to put some glue on this flap. I'm going to take this piece and slide it right up against the score line there. Sorry, my cord is in the way. And, but not over it. I think that'll do it. So, now we have this part. We have our 1/2-inch gusset here, this flap, 1/2-inch gusset here, and then the top with the 1/2-inch gusset here. So now all we got to do is worry about this part, and that's where our 4 pieces of cardstock that were scored at 8.5 come in. So I'm going to open up my book, and essentially all 4 of these are just going to lay right in here. Now, if you are so inclined, you can cut down this section and have some scraps left over, but I went ahead and just glued these pages in, and that's what I'm going to do today. Is I'm just going to glue them right on top of each other. So starting with this one. Going to line it up, match it at the top and bottom so it is mostly straight or somewhat not crooked, and that's that. Let's see. Yep. I'm going to do these last 3 the same way. And that's it, folks. Now, if you're going to use a magnet on your book, you want to think about whether you want to add that now. And if you are wanting to do the waterfall, you can cut those pieces down and add them here. The pieces of this particular waterfall are 4.5 by 5. And you just score them on the 5-inch side at 1/2 inch. And that gives you a 1/2 inch little flap there to glue down. If you are not familiar with waterfalls, definitely leave me a message and I can do a whole video on just doing a waterfall. You can, of course, do them landscape or portrait. And if you're wanting to do something like this little pocket, it is just the other section of this piece of paper, and I just folded it under to make a little bit of a gusset. And you can see those techniques on my previous mini album videos if you're interested. But what I really wanted to do today is bring you this mini album that takes about 15 minutes to put together the base. And this is another one of those projects where you can make the bases in different sizes, and especially if you get that 8.5 by, or that 8 by 8 paper, you just slap those down and you're good to go and you have a mini album ready. So if you would be more interested in more 6 by 6 mini albums, or you are interested in another 8 by 8 mini album, please let me know in the comments below and I'll see what I can do. Thank you so much for watching another video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you know when I load new videos and also when I go live to do a live project and chat. Have a great day, and don't forget, safety first.